Hey, welcome to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Horn. This is a show where I talk about a lot of VHS tapes and horror stuff and pop culture things, and I go to cool places. That's pretty much sums me up. I wrote this book, VHS Ate My Brain, the revised edition of which is out now. Please do check that out. It was really appreciated anyone that checks that out. Even if you just go and look at the cover, because the cover's pretty. That would be lovely of you. So, on this episode, I'm going to talk about 10 weird VHS horror tapes that I found on eBay. Now, these are not necessarily the weirdest or the most obscure or anything like that, but they are weird, and the ones I don't usually see around a lot. So that's going to be an interesting thing to look at, I think, because you can tend to see the same things over and over and over and over and over again. So you'll see lots of Elm Street movies, you'll see lots of things like Friday the 13th and Halloween, you'll see Hellraiser and so on, you'll see a few basket case and things like that, but there are tapes out there that you don't see every day, and that's what we're going to talk about here tonight. Right, let's get started. I've opened up 10 tabs here with a weird tape I found on eBay, and it's just really nice to enjoy looking at these things that are out there, and it's nice to see that these things still exist and are in people's collections. So yeah, as I say, they're not the most obscure ones, they're not the most expensive ones, but they're pretty weird. So let's go take a look. As you can see, I've been looking at t-shirts. I'm always looking at t-shirts, much to the annoyance of everyone that I live with, because there are a lot of t-shirts in this house. So the first one I've got on here is Clive Barker's Underworld. Now this is an interesting one. This came up recently in conversation with the Futurists from Jan Doyle Band, who screened this recently, and I missed the screening. I went to the wrong place, so I missed the screening of this. But this is something I'm quite fond of. It's weird. Clive Barker has disowned it. It was also known as Transmutations, I believe, in the States. Over here it's Underworld. And while it is not the best film in the world, it has a really cool, new wave aesthetic to it. And I love the aesthetic of this film. I have rewatched it since I missed the Futurist screening of it. I went and watched it myself because I know, FOMO. So it's got really cool artwork. That is, this is not a particularly obscure one, but I love the cover of this. It's a really striking cover with a nice burst of yellow for the logo, the very rubbery makeup on there, and it's just a cool looking film. And it's one that edition is one I don't see a lot on eBay. As you're aware, I look at eBay a lot for VHS tapes, but this is not one that I see readily available in this edition. And that's a shame, because it is a nice, I like the red of the cover. It's a nice cover that pops. I can imagine that leaping off the shelf at you in a video store, as all the best ones would. Nothing comes close to, say, like The Evil Dead or Cannibal Holocaust for something that literally leaps out at you from the shelves, but that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So I thought we'd start off with something fairly obscure, but a little bit common as well. And then we go on to violent shit. So we go from something that a lot of people have heard of, we go to violent shit. So if you're not aware of this, this is an SOV, shot on video horror movie. It's a German movie, and it's crazy. It's crazy. That's what I can say about it. It's completely insane. And quite justifiably, it's £60 on eBay at the moment, because this is a rare tape. You can see it's not got a UK rating on the front. It's a very unpleasant watch. It's not an easy watch, especially if you're used to seeing things that have been shot on film. Any SOV horror stuff is very much an acquired taste. It has taken me some time to acquire that taste, but I have done it now. And violent shit is it's quite a watch. But let's take a look at the artwork on this. Well, that appears to be signed. Awesome. So, a real cool production of violent shit. Experience a lesson in real bad taste. To avoid fainting, keep repeating, it's not a snuff film. It's not a snuff film. Nice play on the old Last House on the left advertising there. That's a great cover. Notorious underground gore films from Germany. Have your stomach distress bags ready, you'll need them. The gore meter in this epic will definitely please any gorehound, and it will make any wimp puke for hours on end, says Stink magazine. And what did Rod Sims of the Gorefest say? The most extreme gore film ever made in the history of filmmaking. There has never been a movie depicting such acts of ultimate decadence and brutality. So says Rod Sims. As you can imagine, this is not a film for everyone. But it is a film for weirdos like me. There is a edition of this on the internet database that you can see for free. If you want to check it out, if you want to subject yourself to violent shit, it is. I like it, but I like a lot of weird stuff, weird things. So that's an edition I certainly don't see around a lot. It's certainly a film I don't see around a lot. So I think that's definitely a nice weird one to talk about tonight. That is a great edition. Look at that. Incidentally, do read up on all the SOV horror you can possibly want in a great book called Analog Nightmares. I should have brought it downstairs. It's upstairs on my bedside table at the moment, because what else would anyone read before bed but an enormous book about incredibly brutal shot-on-video horror movies? You know, says the guy in a straight-to-video hat and a vhsatemybrain t-shirt with a VHS book here talking about VHS tapes. I think I might have a bit of a problem, really. So let's move on. So the next tab along after Violent Shit is, of course, had to be, really, Violent Shit 2. Mother Hold My Hand. So, yep, picking up where the first one left off, it's more Violent Shit, as you can imagine. So the front cover, it's got this kind of nice stylized airbrushed mask on there. It's from Blood Pictures, a real gore production, Violent Shit 2, Mother Hold My Hand, by Andreas Schnaz. I think I'm saying that right. I've got something stuck in my tooth, I just realised. Thankfully, the camera I'm using here is low enough quality that you can't really see that with any luck. But yes, this is another one. This is a widescreen edition. Imagine this in widescreen. Of just more crazy violence. Unlike some VHS horror movies, the thing on the cover does actually appear in it, so you get the dude in the mask again. There's lots of brutality, lots of gore. See here on the back, warning, this film is not recommended for wimps or persons under the age of 18 years. It contains scenes of extreme graphic violence, nudity, and gore. Unrated director's approved version. Yeah, dude, honestly. It's an experience. It's definitely an experience. And if you think you can handle horror movies of any kind, I challenge you to go and watch the Violent Shit movies back to back. And while you're at it, if they're still on the Internet Archive, go and check out Video Violence as well, because they were awesome. I loved the two of those. They were great fun, and largely set in a video store, so even better, you know, for the win. So after Violent Shit 2, we've got Bloodshack. Now this is one I've brought up because I just don't see this. This is the first time I've seen this on eBay in a long time. So this is a pre-cert tape that's got the 18 certificate sticker added on later. I don't see this around a lot, but what I'm noticing here, there was something that became very noticeable was a lot of red or a lot of yellow in a lot of VHS covers, and that's why I started using a lot of red and yellow in the thumbnails on my YouTube channel, because it's really striking. It really draws the eye. The contrast between the red and the yellow, it's quite eye-catching, but it's also, for me, very reminiscent of a specific era where a lot of things were put out with red and yellow artwork on them. So it's an interesting thing to see. But yeah, not only one that you see a lot. And it was directed by Wolfgang Schmidt, which is just the best name. Let's have a look at the tape. It's a nice, it's in nice condition, if nothing else. So yeah, that one's worth checking out, worth a look. It's just nice to see things that I don't always see all the time on eBay, because there is a lot of the same stuff always going up. So the next tape over here on these tabs, this is not an obscure film at all. It's Dawn of the Dead. However, I have never seen this edition before. This is a Japanese VHS of Dawn of the Dead, arguably George A. Romero's finest moment. There's also the Dario Argento cut, Zombie. So this is an interesting one here. Look at this. Is this thing about 3 tapes? Yeah, it's 3 tapes. This is superb. definitely something we never see on the market. Of course, the starting bid is high. The bite now is even higher, but quite justifiably, this is something you do not see. So, yeah, George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Of course, that's the one everyone is aware of. Then a certain section of the audience will be more familiar with Dario Argento's cut of it, Zombie. I'm not sure what this third one is with the artwork on it, with the red artwork on it. Let's have a look in the description, see what that's what's going on there with that one. That's a really, really interesting thing to see. Oh, man, come on. Description: Dawn of the Dead, VHS, Japanese, zombie. So, if anyone knows what this third tape is here, with the red artwork and the still from the movie, please do let me know in the comments. I really, in the comments, not the comics. I would really like to know what that is. So that's a really cool little trio of tapes. Let's have a look at the back of these. Look at that, man. Cool artwork. Color schemes are cool. There's some nice stills from the movies there. What a great collectible. So any Romero completist, I totally see that they would be into that. That's a really, really nice one. Next up on these tabs, I've got Castle of Blood. This is the Castle of Blood, aka Scream of the Demon Lover. It says it's PAL, but the cover is in German, so it looks like it's a German edition. And this, I don't see this come up, but I'm a sucker for anything that's got a logo in blood. I mean, that is a really cool thing. I really like the font that they've used there with the literal just blood and the very 60s style artwork there. Really evocative, like Hammer and Amicus and things like that, you know. But this is a really cool looking tape. Let's have a look at the back artwork there. We've got that very cheesy sort of Halloween decoration font. We've got some nice gothic looking stills, and there's a crusty dude there. This is a really nice one that I just don't see around, and I'm all for that at the moment. I do think that sometimes the VHS scene can be a little bit occasionally can get a little bit stale, because it's always the same stuff that you see, the same ex-rentals, the same presets, a few video nasties of varying quality and in varying condition. But it's nice to see something this cool with such cool artwork that you just don't see around a lot. And that's something that keeps the hobby and the scene interesting for me, and the love of VHS, love of the format keeps it interesting for me, because I'm always finding stuff, always discovering stuff that I've never heard of before, and I've not seen this next one either. This one is X-Ray, aka Hospital Massacre. I don't believe I've ever seen this one, but just look at this. Look how gloriously tacky this thing is. I adore this. So we've got the there's not been a great deal of effort put into this cover, and that makes it all the more appealing. It makes it all the more enticing, and just, what is this thing? I love it. So we've got, you know, the logo, we've got some stills from the movie, we've got a couple of gore scenes on there, we've got a head in a bucket. It's, you know, a very simple effect, a head in a bucket, but effective as heck. Rank Video Library sticker on there. It's a nice looking tape. Let's have a look at the back. Oh, you know you're in for a slightly dodgy edition of something when on the back cover there's only one still, and it may or may not be from the movie. Let's have a look at the blurb there. A psychotic killer keeps a young girl trapped in a hospital, having fixed her x-rays to make it look like she has a terminal illness. Everyone who comes into contact with the girl is brutally murdered. That's crazy. Starring Barbie Benton, Chip Lucia. 87 minutes. That is an interesting one. I've not seen that before, the film, and that's why it really caught my eye, because it's something that doesn't come up a lot, and it's got that nice sort of TV movie drama thriller murder mystery cover on it. I like that a lot. Next up on the tab, we've got Killer's Moon. Now, Interocean Video had some really cool covers. I like things like the VTC covers that had like gold and blue art and yellow artwork. The Interocean Video had a lot of them, I remember, had these blue covers with the white stripes on, and a little square image from the movie. This is $49.99 starting bid. No one's bid on it yet. But that's a shame, because that is a nice looking tape. Again, not one that I see around a lot. If you take a look at the cover, the artwork depicts some gore scenes. Hooray, hooray, hooray. One endless night of terror. Let's have a look at the back. There's no stills on the back. Written and directed by Alan Birkinshaw. Let's have a look. Oh, they've made some effort with the blurb here. Dusk approaches in the peaceful beauty of the Lake District. A peace about to be violently shattered by a night of bizarre terror and enough bloodletting to create another lake. That was fun. I must put that voice on more often. I like that. So, something with these as well, like I always say, when you find something that's obscure like this, that you've not seen, that you, even if it's not something you would put in your collection, do check out the seller's other listings, because there's always going to be something crazy on there. So it could be well to be something interesting you've not seen before. So the penultimate one I've got on this list for tonight is the VHS Horror, and this is a film I've seen this movie. A lot of people have seen this movie in various editions, but I just love this cover. Look at the artwork here. So starring Sandra Dee, Dean Stockwell. I wonder if he's got Ziggy. That'd be amazing. Ed Begley, Lloyd Bochner, Donna Bachala. I'm terrible at pronouncing stuff. I can barely even pronounce my own name. Sam Jaff and Joanna Moore Jordan. The VHS Horror. It's rated X, Guild Home Video. Look at this edition here with the X rating on it. The blue and pink stripes down there. It makes it very evocative of an era. So even before, it brings to mind the very, very early days of video rental stores, where a lot of things were just so enticing with the painted artwork and those garish coloured bands on a lot of things. Before things became too mass-produced, or sorry, more mass-produced, and you know, awareness of video stores became so deeply ingrained in everyone's daily lives. This harkens back to an era where there was still something quite sleazy about it, and you know, a little upstairs back room of somewhere, and kind of a little frowned upon, where it was just like a counter and a couple of rows of tapes, and you felt a little bit uneasy being there. But I really like the look of that tape. Let's have a look at the back. Yeah, we've got some stills from the movie there. Nice gothic stills from the movie. Let's have a look at the tape. Tiny bit of wear around the label, but something that age, you can't be surprised about that. Oh wow, the case has still got the Guild gold seal reproduction sticker on it. I love that. I love all the other stickers on things. It just shows that they've lived and they've been used. And the clamshell, although it's got some breakage in the middle there, that is the original Guild Home Video clamshell. So that's going to be slightly squashy. It's going to be quite flimsy as well to hold. I can see that is the more flimsy plastic there, but that is really cool to see. I love the original branded cases. My favourites are always going to be like Medusa and Palace Premier. I loved those, but those Guild ones that were like vacuum formed by the look of it. Again, evocative of that era before everything got crazy with everything else. So it's nice to see that as well. So, okay, what have we got for my last tape of these? Look at 10 weird tapes I've found on eBay in terms of VHS horror. For tonight, it's not a classic, but it's watchable, and it's one that's worth seeing if you're into your very vintage horror movies. It is The Corpse Grinders. Now this is an interesting one. The Corpse Grinders Pre-Cert VHS PAL small glass box, the first release of this particular video. Nasty. So yeah, I've seen one of these tapes on the channel before when I've been hunting before, and I understand it is glass. I thought it was plastic, but someone told me it was glass. Feel free to correct me on that. Yeah, it does look like a giant oversized cassette tape case. And that's cool. It's different. It's not what we're used to. Is seeing a lot of VHS tapes where we'd have the clamshell or a big box or a slipcase. These were clearly, you know, came to an end very early on in the life of the VHS scene, the video era, and it's an interesting artifact, because this predates my own earliest memories of renting videos. I mean, my earliest memories of renting videos, I think, was for someone's birthday. It was about 1982, 1983, with a friend's birthday, a school friend's birthday, and I remember there was we went to a video shop, and I remember being very confused by everything there, and also delighted because all these garish covers of things that I was way too young to be seeing, staring back at me. It was just the best. And I remember the choice of what we decided on that night came down to two tapes. It was a tape of episodes of Starfleet with the old marionettes, the puppets. That's clearly the sign for puppets. And the other one was a compilation of episodes of old Fleischer Superman cartoons. And we went with the latter. I wanted Starfleet because it was a bit weird. But no, we went with the Fleischer cartoons. I don't think I've spoken to that friend ever since. I can't remember who it was, because I'm incredibly old now. But this is a really cool thing to see. It's an interesting tape. It's an interesting movie if you can get through it. Although there's not a great deal of corpse grinding in it, not in the edition I've seen anyway. There may well be more there. That's the thing with a lot of old horror movies. You never know which edition you're going to get. You do have to do some research if you want like an uncut one or a specific edit of it. It's interesting to see what's out there, though, and it's certainly interesting to see some more obscure tapes on eBay. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do this again sometime. This is a really fun one to do. It's just nice to see things that you don't always come across on there popping up. I mean, I've never seen that edition of Corpse Grinders until looking for tapes for this tonight. So yeah. I'm going to look for some more like this. That was a lot of fun. If you like this sort of content, please do like and subscribe here on Twitch or over on my YouTube channel, where this will go afterwards, where I put up content about VHS tapes, cult movies. I review things in the week between full-length episodes of Planet Hex. I have a little show called Planet Hex Review Time, where I review little things that I've rediscovered or found new, and it's good fun. It's good fun. If you do like this, please do like and subscribe. Please do check out the book, VHS Ate My Brain, the revised edition. There's some links below if you want to check that out. It is hugely appreciated. And thank you very much for joining me for this episode of Planet Hex.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and validate my existence.